Yeah, just good.
The Inquizition Interview.
Hello and welcome to the Inquizition Interview. This is something new we're going to be doing. I'm your host, Luke Ryan, and the Inquizition Interviews will be an irregular series where we'll have a chat with some of our regular guests. We'll talk about their experience with quizzing, why they got into quizzing, and we'll ask each other a few questions along the way. So I have a very special guest to start us off. He is a quizmaster. He was the regular host of Beckett's in Prague. He also hosted the James Joyce quiz, where I do my quizzing and quiz hosting as well. And we've been on a quiz team together, the Islanders at one point, and also a very good friend of mine. So please welcome Alex Downs. Alex, how are you doing?
Oh, doing pretty well, thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on and being this first guest. You have been on the Inquizition as well.
I have. I think I have the distinction of being one of the biggest losers on the Inquisition.
Okay, not just on... Sorry, only on the Inquisition, yeah?
Well, you know, we win some, we lose some in life, but yeah, I've not had a very good record on the Inquisition. I very much enjoy playing, but I think, if anything, it's a demonstration that being a quiz host doesn't always translate into being a deft or adept player.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean. I've taken part in 2 episodes of this, one hosted by Amanda, one by Kuba. I've lost them both, so I have a 100% losing record on my own podcast. So have you won any episodes of the Inquisition?
I was lucky enough to win one episode. We recorded it just before the holidays. I believe it was the penultimate episode of the previous season. Correct me if I'm wrong, season 3.
Oh, that the gift-giving one? The
gift-giving episode. And I was fortunate to be on a team with Kuba, who is a great player, a good friend, and a great quizzer. So we made a good effort of it, and I finally got out of the winless column.
Well, yeah, Kuba, he's been one of the most successful players on this. So before we get into the interviewing part, you have a few questions for me, and I'll have a few for you. Mm-hmm. So we'll do a question back and forth each, and then we'll get into some of the interviewing. So
sure.
I've chosen a few questions from some of my recent Joyce quizzes. Uh-huh. So what is the only mammal that is covered with scales? The only mammal that is covered with scales.
That's a good question.
I only found it out recently myself, and I enjoy it. It was like, yeah, it's one of these things like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I'm going to guess the pangolin.
You are correct. It is a pangolin.
Took a moment to come to me, but I was thinking I'm very fortunate. I follow the Instagram account of the Prague Zoo, and they just had a baby pangolin born there last year, and so
I was actually at the zoo a couple of weeks ago. Saw the pangolins. I don't know if I saw the baby one, but yeah, they're pretty cool animals. Okay, have you got a question for me?
I do. We'll start with who was the first person to see Jesus Christ allegedly after his resurrection?
Was it one of the apostles or someone different? Was it Hosanna in the highest? No, was it Hosanna or Isaiah? I have no idea. I really after all those times of Bible studies when I was a kid, which I have long forgotten because I don't give a shit. No disrespect to anyone who does, but right. I have no idea.
Should we work with hints, or should I...
I know, go on, tell me.
So that was Mary Magdalene.
Oh, Mary Magdalene. Uh-huh.
Good old M&M.
Uh-huh.
The original M&M.
The original M&M.
Yeah, before Mom's Spaghetti.
The Slim Shady.
Yeah.
So how did you get into quizzing? Or was it back in America, or was it when you came to Prague?
Yeah, so I first became aware of... Well, of course, they called it trivia, pub trivia or bar trivia back in the United States, or trivia night. I first became aware of it in the early 2010s. I was living in Boston at the time, and right around the corner from our house on Alston Street, there was a bar called Harry's Bar. That's where we spent mostly all of our evenings. We didn't really have much of a social life outside of Harry's. We were just the regulars there, and we enjoyed it. There was a pool table, but on Monday nights, they had a trivia night weekly. And So we started mostly just by heckling and giving the quiz host shit, which I'm sure he loved. But
Shouting answers out.
we never shouted answers out, but we were just like generally little shits to him. And like now after being a host, I realized like, well, yeah, he must have hated us. But
You can't stand it when
yeah.
guests start shouting stuff.
But he tolerated us, and eventually we got drawn in, and we enjoyed. We actually wanted to participate in the quiz, and we started to participate in the quiz. And we never did great, but I enjoyed it. And then I found there were some quizzes that I discovered after moving to Prague. Danny at the Globe, who's still going strong. That was probably the first Prague pub quiz I played.
Yeah, me too.
And then later, a little quiz at bar number 7.
Oh, the one Chris did.
Well, back then, it was hosted by a fella named Mike Gisandi. And my friend Ben and I, we started playing Mike Gisandi's quiz. And eventually, I don't know how Mike transitioned out of it, but he kind of handed the baton to Ben and I, and we co-hosted that quiz for, I don't know, maybe a year.
I know, I only did that a couple of times when Chris hosted it. It was good fun. Chaotic. It was a fun quiz, and then you were co-hosting with me in Beckett's for a while, or was it in the Joyce, or covering for me in the Joyce for a bit?
Yeah, I think so the bar 7 quiz was a great way to start, but I think what we didn't realize at the bar 7 quiz was that people are supposed to have fun during the quiz. The model that we'd been handed at bar 7 was that the quiz was supposed to be an aggressive, condescending experience, and the hosts seemed to always ask questions that were asinine and hard, and in my view, kind of like stood to only show off how much the hosts knew more than the participants. If anyone's ever played a quiz like that, you know it's maybe not the right approach. So after Luke, your host of the Inquisition here, drew me into guest hosting at the James Joyce a few times, I think that's when I started to really take it seriously and maybe try to hone it a bit as a craft.
Yeah. I mean, I always find the Joyce is a challenging quiz. Like, I think it's one of the most difficult ones in Prague, but I do think it's fun. I mean, and we have a lot of regular teams that have been coming for years, and it's almost like a soap opera.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes one team is hated for a while because they're doing well, and then they stop doing well. But it's a nice community. I mean, if it's going to be dragging you out every Monday night throughout the winter, you know, it has to be something. Has to be something worth going out for. You know, and I mean, Beckett's was always good fun. It was more raucous in Beckett's because it was a Thursday night. Everyone's ready for the weekend.
Well, I remember my first several times just standing in for you at James Joyce. You know, there's some really intelligent, serious people there, and of course, at the time, I'm in my late 20s. Maybe just touching 30. And of course, these are all middle-aged professionals who know a lot of stuff, and they're not afraid to shout you down when they think you're wrong. So I remember just pit sweats. I was sweating it out the first few times hosting there, but it really does sort of push you to become a better host, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you know as well as being a quiz host, but I spend... for whatever time I spend writing a question, I spend as much time bulletproofing it. You know, whether it's according to a particular website or checking 4 or 5 websites to make sure they agree. Because, you know, at the break time, half the audience are going to have their phones out ready to try pull you up on any little discrepancy or whatever weird website they can find that slightly proves you wrong.
Right, exactly. So you got to get, I don't know, I got better at that as time went on. I mean, in the early years, I was getting holes punched in my questions left and right, but eventually it's unpleasant enough to get called to task that you eventually start to, like you said, try to bulletproof your questions.
Well, it has made me better. It has made me a better quizmaster, though. You know?
For sure.
In some ways, I can sit here and say I would love it if people had no phone access until the quiz is finished finally. But I remember from being a teenager quizzing in Ireland. This was long before mobile phones. You'd get out and you're like, I know that's not right, but you'd have to go home and check the encyclopedia and then find out the quizmaster's wrong, but everything is done and dusted. So I don't want people walking out of my quiz and then later finding out that I've made some huge screw up with one of my answers. You know, that's not enjoyable for people taking part as well.
Yeah, and I find one thing over the years that got easier is I stopped taking it quite so personally when I got called to question, and I'm fully, on the occasion when I have got it really wrong, and I'm okay to take one on the chin and, admit that I'm wrong, give the point back.
Yeah, I still find that kind of tough though.
Remind everyone that I'm only human.
Yeah. Because I, as you know, I'm a primary school teacher. So, I always try to be fair with the kids I teach, and they know that, but they know I'm strict. But sometimes I just want to turn around to the adults and like, sit down, be quiet, stop talking. Because the kids kind of have to do that. It's like, geez, I can't say that to adults, unfortunately. And I want to... Because weirdly, the kids are better behaved than some of the adults at the quiz sometimes. Yeah. Okay, let's get to... we'll do a couple more questions. So here's one for you. The majority of the Uruguay River flows through which country? The majority of the Uruguay River flows through which country?
That's a great question. I got a river question for you as well. But I don't know for sure. I'm going to guess. So Uruguay is a pretty small country. I'm going to pick a bigger country. How about Brazil?
You are correct.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it kind of flows actually on the border between Brazil and Paraguay for a bit and then into Uruguay. But 450 kilometers in Uruguay, 606 in Brazil. It rises in Brazil.
Brazil's got space to spare, man.
It does. I like that because everyone's like, it's not surely it's not Uruguay, or is it going to be Uruguay? And it's a trick question. Anyway, shoot.
Is it all right if my rivers question is 3 possible points?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So... please, no giggling from the peanut gallery when I ask this question. In terms of discharge, there it is. In terms of discharge, that is cubic meters of water per second, what are the 3 most powerful rivers on Earth? So we're talking amount of water being displaced.
I know Nile is accepted as being the longest now, but it's quite a low discharge. Amazon has to be up there. I would say Amazon.
Amazon's number 1.
Congo.
That's on there.
And my gut instinct tells me the Ganges.
Flawless. You got a 1, 2, and 3 in the correct order.
I do like. That's a good question.
That was one of my favorites. I think I did that my first season hosting at Beckett's. I still love a good discharge question.
It's a great question. Okay, I'll do one. We'll do another couple, and then a couple more questions. So, as we are in Prague in the Czech Republic, which has been our homes for many years. So, according to Wikipedia, the top 3 beer-consuming countries by total consumption, not per capita. So, everyone knows that the Czech Republic is the highest per capita beer consumer in the world, but just in total literage or whatever, the top 3 beer-consuming countries by total consumption in the world. This is according to World Population Review, just to bulletproof that question.
Right. So on these, I always kind of just have to go to the big... I'm going to guess number 1, China. Number 2, India.
China, number 1. India's not on the list, though.
All right.
China is always go China on these things.
What about...
Gareth Evers always says to do that.
So I'm going to then go China, the United States.
Number 2, yeah, correct.
And number 3... How about Brazil?
Bang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Brazil. Well done. So, what would your best or most frustrating things about hosting a quiz?
Well, the best thing is definitely the people. And the worst, actually. The best and the worst thing are the people. And I guess I can clarify a little bit. From my perspective, when I was hosting at Beckett's weekly, I was getting paid to hang out with 40 or 50 people that I liked every Thursday. And if you like what you're going out to do, then it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And so that was by far the most rewarding thing. And if you've got a particular quiz set up where it's the same teams coming back week after week, as I know you do as well, you become friends with people that you otherwise wouldn't have become friends with. And, some teams stay on for a few seasons and then they might lose members and they might fade out, and you get new teams to replace them. So you end up meeting a whole bunch of interesting people, and you learn a lot from them too. So there's sort of the social aspect of it, friendly competition. I would say that's the number one best thing about it. And the worst thing about quizzing, I don't know. I'd say probably the preparation. There are some weeks when it's a joy to do and it's a joy to compile, but if you are kind of having, the quiz host's version of writer's block, being a person who, and I know you're like this as well. You write your own quizzes. You're not pulling, we don't belong to a company that does pre-made quizzes and sends them out to us every week. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it is on us to invent the quiz every week. And when the questions come easily, that's great. But if you're having a shitty week when it comes to, inventiveness, it can sometimes feel like pulling teeth. Yeah.
I always find that the hardest Joyce quiz to write of the year is the first one in September.
Yeah.
Because I've had a 2-month break over the summer. Mm-hmm. And even though I always keep a list on my phone, I'm screen grabbing stuff off the internet all the time for question ideas. And it's just so hard to get into the flow of it again. Yeah. And it takes by the end of September, then you're back in the flow and the ideas start coming.
Yeah.
But that it can be tough sometimes. There's nothing worse than having quiz question or quiz writer's block.
Yeah.
Do you prefer taking part in quizzes or hosting?
Oh gosh, it's a tough question. I enjoy both. I think, I've definitely reached the point in life where I've hosted far, far, far more quizzes than I've ever participated in. I would say when I sit down and play a quiz, there is a lot of joy in that. When you're hosting, you're putting on a performance. I guess I'd have to say I like to participate more.
Yeah. I don't know. I prefer hosting, I think. Though I know, just after COVID in 2020, Carlo took over from me for a bit. And I went probably over nearly a year without hosting.
Yeah.
And then I did start missing hosting, but I realized I'd gone 5 years either hosting at the Joyce, hosting at Beckett's. Mm-hmm. And I might play one quiz a year. I was like, geez, I'm never answering the questions, and it is nice to answer the questions until you get those questions and you're like, oh my god, that quizmaster's a bastard.
Yeah,
But you also, one thing I always get from being a contestant or a guest, it gives you great ideas because that's a great way of breaking writer's block. Is going to some other quizzes and hearing the kind of stuff that other quizmasters come out with.
My best questions have come from, maybe they're not questions that I've poached, so to speak, but you go to someone else's quiz and you see the way they put it together and you get your own idea and sort of make it your own.
Yeah. Any quiz team names that have caught your attention? I know there's a few classics that go around like Quiz Team Aguilera and stuff like that, or a few quite lewd or rude ones as well about quizzing, where you might quiz and stuff. Any particular quiz team names that have really stood out?
I'm gonna have to think about that one for a second.
We got a new. They used to come to the Joyce before, and they've actually started coming again. They're now under the name Quiz Pratt instead of Chris Pratt, which is pretty good. And I will give a shout out to Fellowship of Fools. Because I've been playing with them a few times and they're a lovely team to play for at the Joyce. So hi Fellowship. But yeah, any jump out to you?
How about You're a Quizzard Harry?
Oh, they're at the Beckett's, aren't they?
No, they were. They're a former Beckett's quiz team. I like the use of Quizzard, and I believe some of their members have split off and they did Les Quizzarab.
They're good. I do like You're a Quizzard Harry, actually. That's a pretty good one.
There's some... I like the rude names as well. I like the names that I almost don't want to read into the microphone. But I can't think of any right now.
Okay, let's do a couple more questions. Right. I weirdly seem to be focusing on South America here.
That's all right.
But I like some of these questions because... And for me, what makes a good question is even if you don't know, you can have an educated guess at. if you say like, in which city would you find this statue? Unless you've been there, you wouldn't know. Like, it's a bullshit question. But these sort of questions where you can kind of imagine the idea. So, the flag of Uruguay has how many blue stripes?
Ooh.
The flag of Uruguay has how many blue stripes?
I can picture it.
I do. I always like these things where you can picture it in your heads, but now your memory starts
second guessing. All right, I'm gonna go with 6.
You are incorrect.
Oof.
It's 4.
4. All right.
I think it's 4 and 5 white stripes.
Yeah. I was thinking it looks less busy than the U.S. flag, so I was going. Yeah, I probably should have guessed lower.
Okay.
An uneducated guess. All right. What are we gonna go with? Let's go with disasters. Are you familiar with the 1977 Tenerife aircraft disaster? Two Boeing 747s collided.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Massive casualties. So, for a 2-point question, what were the names of the 2 major airlines involved in the 77 Tenerife disaster?
I have no idea. I have heard of it. Was one of them an American airline?
One of them was, and the other was a European one.
I don't know. Was it Lufthansa? That's the European one.
Was not Lufthansa.
This is tough. This is a very good question, actually. American Airlines?
Not American.
Delta?
Not Delta.
I'm kind of running out of American Airlines now. KLM?
Well, that was the European one.
Or KLM?
Yep.
That's the oldest still operating airline
That's correct.
in the world, yeah. And the American...
I'll give you a hint. The American airline is no longer operating.
Pan Am?
Pan Am is the one, yeah. So that's an interesting one, because I actually asked that question in a pub quiz, and there was a retired KLM pilot there.
Oh, really?
At that quiz. And, he was an older gentleman, I wouldn't say elderly, but he was old enough to be retired. And apparently he had trained under the pilot who was the pilot of the KLM flight, which was one of the 2 aircraft which experienced that hull loss incident, which I thought was quite a crazy, 2 degrees of separation to have. He brought it up with me after the quiz. Obviously, I wasn't making jokes about it, which is fortunate, because I have quite an awful sense of humor. You shouldn't joke about it. Anyway, I might want to just cut this out of the recording.
No, absolutely not. Back in 2017, at the Joyce quiz had been going for about a year, and it would have been probably February or March, late February 2017. And the actor Geoffrey Rush?
Absolutely.
He was in Prague filming the National Geographic series Einstein. He came to the quiz for about 10 weeks, and I remember talking to him outside. He was like, "Yeah, I love quizzing. Wherever I go, I try to find a quiz."
That's great.
The first time he was there, just by chance, there happened to be quite a lot of movie questions, and people had kind of worked out it was Geoffrey Rush. And they're like, for God's sake, he probably has the phone numbers of half the answers in his book. And I think I'm still the only quiz in Prague that's had an Oscar winner there.
Absolutely,
A few weeks later, this was also just not long after Donald Trump had started his first term and started firing ambassadors here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So he had fired the American ambassador to the Czech Republic at the time. I think his name was Andrew Shapiro.
That's correct, yeah.
So that happened, let's say, the Wednesday, Thursday. So the following Monday, one of my questions was, what's the name of the US ambassador who will be leaving because of Trump? Mm-hmm. And Geoffrey Rush puts his hand up. He's like, "Yeah, I think we got this one. He's on my team." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah. I'm not going to say his name and help everyone, but yes, he's on my team." And I was like, "Bullshit." He's like, "No. He is literally on my team. The answer to your question is here." And I took my phone out and Googled Andrew Shapiro's name. I was like, Jesus Christ, the answer and he was like, no, I am the outgoing US ambassador and the correct answer to your question.
That is tremendous.
Oh, it's like, what a weird moment.
I don't have any guests like that from mine. Not that I can think of anyway.
It was cool. Like Geoffrey, he was a very nice guy, because everyone's a bit like, wow, is that? And he just started coming every week. He would just come out and chat to us at break time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really, really fun. Anyway, any favorite or least favorite quiz topics?
Oh, well, as a writer actually, it would be the same.
Writer or participant?
Well, I love history and geography. If it were up to me, I could write an entire quiz on just history and geography, and I could get even more niche. I mean, I love all things related to those topics. Least favorite, probably very specific, and I did give this some thought. And it's maybe not it's usually my least favorite, not in the writing context, because if you're writing, and you're targeting this topic, but whenever I go to play a quiz, I forget to check these stinking award ceremonies like the Oscars. Like, so who won this award, that award? I'm never ready for it because it doesn't. If I'm not in the middle of writing a quiz, it doesn't cross my mind that the ceremony happened, and I haven't looked up the results to it. I'm just not a big fan of award shows, so I don't know who won the Grammys for this or that, or the Oscars for this or that, and so those always jump me, and I never know the answers. And I would say that's probably my least favorite.
I do like geography myself as well. Yeah, I struggle to not put too many geography questions in, I agree. I mean, even last week when the Oscars came out, I started having a quick look, knowing there'd be a quiz that night. And then you just see the pictures, like so-and-so's wearing a Gucci dress or a Christian Dior. I was like, this is just such a vacuous waste of time. Like, the world is starting to fall apart, and, all this focus on what dress someone is wearing or who got an award. I think, I can't be bothered with that. Yeah. I really can't be bothered.
Oh, look, Adam Sandler wore a hoodie. That's the end of Western civilization as we know it.
I saw something earlier. Was it John Cena turned up to the Oscars naked except for some stationery?
I have no idea. I didn't see that one.
That's okay. Or actually, just yesterday evening, I was watching the Moonlight La La Land mix-up. Which, I mean, but I don't have time for it. There's a bigger world out there than Hollywood.
For sure.
Bigger hills and more interesting hills with less syringes all around them.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's do a couple more questions, like trivia questions, and then we'll get to the last couple of interview questions.
All right.
So here's one for you, Alex, which is very special for you. I did ask this at the Joyce one time, but if you don't live in Prague, you might be lost on this, but you'll get to learn something wonderful. It is a river question.
Ooh, love my rivers.
Which river flows through parts of Vršovice, close to Vršovice train station, and behind Dolicek, the Bohemian Stadium, and eventually flows into the Vltava at Vyšehrad?
Ooh, could only be one, and that would be the mighty Botich.
It is the mighty Botich. On maps they say the Botich, but we know it's the mighty Botich, the greatest river in the world.
Exactly.
Not much. It doesn't have much in discharge, but it has the most soul of any river.
It is the most soulful creek I've ever seen.
It is indeed. Okay, do you want to ask me one?
Yeah, why not? This is going to be a multiple choice question. Which Greek philosopher is the oldest, or which came first? Is it A, Aristotle, B, Socrates, or C, Plato?
Aristotle, Socrates, or Plato? Because I know one of them was the student of another.
In fact, one was the student of the other, which was the student of the other. It is a sort of philosophical grandfathership, if you want to call it that.
So I'm trying to wonder now, like in your Aristotle, what order did you read them in again?
I said A, Aristotle, B, Socrates, or C, Plato.
So I always put the answers in alphabetical order in case people. It's just at a standard now. I started thinking I'm going to go Aristotle. I would go Aristotle.
So the older of the three, the elder would be Socrates. It went Socrates to Plato, Plato to Aristotle, and if you want to follow it along, actually Aristotle to Alexander the Great.
So
Aristotle was Alexander the Great's tutor.
So I picked the youngest of the three.
You did.
Okay, Socrates was the highest.
Yeah, or as they would say in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Socrates.
Yeah. He was a good footballer as well.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one for you. And I love these kind of geography questions because I love how people have a kind of somewhat distorted view of the map of the world. Also because when you see it on a flat page compared to in the globe. But
Right.
it's like I've done a few of these halfway there questions. As the crow flies, the halfway point between London and Istanbul is over which country? As the crow flies, the halfway point between London and Istanbul is over which country?
Straight line.
Yeah, straight line. It was a non-drunk crow. I mean, I don't know if crows drink a lot, but this crow was flying straight. Istanbul to London, London to Istanbul. Halfway, this crow, he or she, is over which country, or they?
Oh, glory be. I'm going to go with Poland.
Incorrect.
Oh, can I have a second guess?
Yeah, go on.
I'm probably going to guess another incorrect one. How about Slovakia?
Incorrect.
All right. Hit me with the correct answer.
Austria.
Oh, it was in sort of the right area.
Yeah. It's a fun...
That's a good one.
Pain in the ass to prepare and check, but worth it because everyone can answer that question.
Yeah. I've got one for you.
Go on, yeah.
I was enamored about this little factoid. I think this is my favorite quiz question that I asked in my final season as the host at Beckett's. Name the most recent U.S. president to own a slave.
The most recent U.S. president to own a slave.
Or it could be, who was the last U.S. president to own a slave?
I'm guessing it was after Abraham Lincoln as well. I'm guessing it's probably 20th century. Is it 20th century?
It is not.
Is it 21st? I hope to God it's not 20. It's not 21st century, is it?
No.
Okay, thank God for that. I don't know. I don't know a lot of them. I mean, I know Abraham Lincoln is the guy. Is like people say he's the one who freed the slaves. Was it Lincoln?
It was not Abraham Lincoln.
Was it after him?
It was after him.
I'm not great. Taft. I'm pulling that name out of nowhere though.
No, it wasn't Taft. I can give it to you.
Go on.
It was not who you'd think, considering what his job before being president was, but it was Ulysses S. Grant.
Okay.
He owned a slave.
Okay. What was his job before being president?
Well, he was the commanding general of the Union Army who fought the Confederacy, who had the institution of slavery. But yeah, Grant freed his only slave, I believe, before rejoining the military.
Okay.
I'll have to brush up on my Grant history, but definitely one of my favorite U.S. presidents. Fascinating figure.
That is interesting.
He did own a slave, but he freed said slave.
I do actually have a U.S. president question for you, but I will leave that right till the very end. But
okay.
One other question for you before that. So anyway, last interview question. You have been on the Inquisition before. Mm-hmm. What would be your favorite and or least favorite Inquisition round?
Oh, I like most of them. I would say maybe I know what my least favorite is immediately. It's the lightning round.
The last one.
Yeah, and it's simply because I'm not good at that. It's not that it's a poorly written round. I think it's a great concept. I think a quiz show should have this.
It's just a horrible experience.
Yeah, it's just one that I'm not particularly good at scoring points in. And I think
I hate it. Having done it twice, I hate it. I mean, I love administering it to people.
Yeah. I would say maybe my favorite would have to be a tie between like same as, and I do like the sort of best guess questions where you got to give your best guess to a numerical question or something like that. They're different, but I love doing stuff like that. So those can jointly be my two favorites.
I always like the number one. I like because it doesn't require knowledge. It doesn't
exactly.
It doesn't require a specific answer. It requires like logical thinking. So anyway, just before we finish up, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
And it is a U.S. president's question. So, of the 21st century U.S. presidents,
all right,
who was the shortest?
Okay.
Who was the shortest of the U.S. presidents
So
who were president in the 20th century?
Did you say 20th or 21st?
Sorry, 21st century, yeah.
21st. So the 21st century, That would be, all right, so the election was 99, so the first one of the 21st century, Clinton would have been out. It would have been W.
Clinton was still briefly.
He had his toes in it, okay.
Yeah, he would count for the question.
But I've seen them standing next to each other. I know Clinton is not the shortest. It would have to be George W.
You are correct, yeah.
Hey.
182 centimeters.
The shortest of them, but definitely not the
pettiest
or the worst.
Yeah, I think we all have a good guess of who that is at this time.
Right.
Do you have any last questions for me?
Sure. This is sometimes when I'm doing the Beckett's quiz, I just want to ask something a little bit asinine to keep people on their toes. I asked this in a season finale once. Here it goes. Is this a rhetorical question?
No.
That's correct. Way to go, Luke.
Cool. Well, Alex, thank you very much for being the first guest on the Inquizition Interview. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been a joy to talk quiz and quizzing with you, especially with a fellow quizmaster. So I hope you guys listening have enjoyed it as much as I have. As I said, it will be an irregular series, but we will have some more interviews coming out to complement the regular Inquizition quizzes. So thank you everyone for listening. Alex, thanks very much for taking part.
Thanks very much.
All right, everyone, thanks very much. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.
The Inquizition Interview.
Right, let's put a pause break there for a second.
Sure.